can't believe it came down to that. That was incredible comeback by Baltimore, but really far too long. This game, they needed everything to go their way. And Jackson, he brought him back. Well, it wasn't enough, and Rivers deserves credit for playing the way that he needed to win this football game in this environment. And you're right, he's going to New England with a good football team.
That'll be next Sunday at 1 o'clock at Gillette Stadium. Patriots hosting the Chargers. And the Ravens season, who knows what's going to happen. There's going to be so many different things in the offseason for this Baltimore franchise. Ozzie Newsome, this will mark the end of his magnificent career in the front office with the Ravens. You got Flacco. What will they do there? Suggs, his contract's up, but Flacco, of course, is into the third year of a long contract. Could be see movement there as you look at the playoffs now all set for the divisional round. The two road teams win in the American Football Conference this weekend.
Well, it shows you just any team in the playoffs right now, there's no like crazy dominant team in this AFC. New England's always been that way, but you know, obviously they aren't quite the same, but they still can come out of this, believe me. Any team can come out of this from the AFC that you're seeing right there.
And looking down the line, we can tell you now that the AFC Championship start time has been set. The AFC Championship presented by TurboTax Live. That'll be the late game on Sunday, January 20th. Well, all the talk about the young quarterbacks, there's so much excitement, particularly in the AFC. But we'll have next week, we'll be there for that one. 37-year-old Phillip Rivers, 41-year-old Tom Brady, Chargers and Patriots in the divisional round.
Would it be any different if you're going to the AFC title game? You got to go through the Patriots at some point, don't you? A lot of that one bracket every year. Tom Brady's going to show up. He'll be there.
Coming up next, the State Farm Postgame Show for Tony, Jay, Gene, and Tracy. Jim Nance saying so long from Baltimore. We'll join James Brown in New York after this.
This is the State Farm Postgame Show.
Back here in New York, where we welcome you now to the State Farm Post-Game Show. Final score in Baltimore, the Chargers hang on to beat the Ravens 23-17. They advance now to the divisional round playoff next Sunday against the New England Patriots as we welcome you back inside of Studio 43. And again, the State Farm Post-Game Show. A reminder, up next, the road to the Final Four continues here on CBS. It'll feature a Big Ten matchup between number 21 Indiana and second-ranked and undefeated Michigan. That comes your way next right here on CBS. Back here with the full house, Coach Nate Boomer and Phil, as we talk about this matchup. Coach, put it in perspective.
Well, I think for Phillip Rivers and the L.A. Chargers, they came to the East Coast. They've 7-1 on the road, continued to not be swayed by this road thing. And they figured out the second time. The first time a team has played the Baltimore Ravens for the second time, they clearly had a great plan. The turnovers were the difference in this game, that being a 3 that the Baltimore Ravens had.
Yeah, they knew exactly where the punches were coming from. That running game that Baltimore used a few weeks ago when they beat the Chargers, they suffocated that. Yeah. And credit to the D-line that got after Lamar Jackson, just sped up that clock. And for rookie quarterbacks, it's already fast in their head. But once they got after the quarterback, this is when the game changed.
Well, Melvin Ingram had quite the day. And I was waiting there until 5 minutes ago in the fourth quarter, wondering whether or not John Harbaugh was watching the same game I was watching. He stuck with his young quarterback. And this is what his young quarterback had to deal with all day long. It was relentless pressure. They were trying to figure out ways to stop Ingram. They were changing their left tackles. They were moving guys all over the place. 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, and 2 tackles for a loss.
And with those names you just mentioned, Boomer, after the game, it was our Tracy Wolfson catching up with Phillip Rivers and Melvin Ingram.
Well, they certainly made it interesting down the stretch there, but I want to start with you, Melvin, and this defense. What did you guys learn the first time around against the Ravens that you were able to do differently coming into this game?
Just come out and play assignment football, play our game, man. We can't get out of whack. We just got to come out and play together.
Well, what a tremendous job by the defense today, and we're just going to move on right away to New England, a completely different challenge, Philip, with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick up in Foxborough.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, we know the run they've had. It seems like forever. They're always in these games and games beyond, but it's like I told you yesterday, we found so many different ways to win. You know, the defense was unbelievable today, and we couldn't get in the end zone. We finally did, but with this team, we're going to fly back home, and then we're going to fly back out here for another 10 a.m. West Coast kick. We really don't care. What's the saying?
Any squad, any place, we bout whatever.
How we've gone all year long, and we'll be there next Sunday.
Well, congratulations. Good luck. We'll see you there.
Thanks. Thank you.
Oh, man, it's always good to win a playoff game, no doubt. When you watch that game, you said it right, Nate. They took their two best pass rushers, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. They put them inside on the guards. They got one-on-one. They got there every time to Lamar Jackson. And, you know, the Baltimore offense, it showed no imagination today. The game plan didn't alter itself from what they did out in Los Angeles because the Chargers stopped that Baltimore offense really out there for most of the game except the very beginning. And I just didn't see enough changes you know, by the Baltimore coaches.
Let's just not take it away from Lamar Jackson. You see the numbers right there, and certainly those numbers were padded a little bit because of the end of the game. But listen, you put this kid in the middle of the season, and you're going to have a limited offense. So, yes, there's development that needs to take place with this kid in this offseason, and that's what the Baltimore Ravens are going to do. They're going to build from here. We're going to see no more Joe Flacco. They're going to move on from that. It'll be interesting to see how they recover from this game.
And we need to bury the fact that they say he can't pass. In that fourth quarter, he proved that.
Yes. Back with more here in New York with the State Farm postgame show after this. Back here for the State Farm postgame show. As you heard Philip Rivers mention, the Patriots will be hosting the Chargers. Rivers and the Chargers couldn't do much against the Patriots. That was back in the 07 AFC Championship game, their last meeting in the postseason. Brady threw 2 touchdowns, including one to Wes Welker.
Yeah, I remember Philip Rivers had the torn ACL in that game and still played. Daniel Tomlinson had the same problem, was unable to play. That's why we were saying, I think, earlier today that this is Philip's best team. And this is why he needs to go on an Eli Manning-type road run here in the playoffs. Now, he is 0-7 against Tom Brady when he plays against Tom Brady as a Patriot quarterback. 2-0 in the postseason for Tom Brady. He knows, I can see his mind thinking, I got to go against Belichick in this defense. And it's going to be a completely different game, as Tracy pointed out. This was a physical, aggressive defense that you played against. The Patriots are 30th in sacks when it comes to the NFL statistics. That's more of a mind game and a better secondary that they're going to be playing against this weekend in New England.
And credit to the Chargers, credit to Anthony Lynn and getting his guys motivated. It seemed like they have passed every single test, but this is going to be the biggest test for Anthony Lynn because you better believe that Belichick and that coaching staff, Josh McDaniels, they've been game planning for the Chargers for about a month now. So this is going to be one of the biggest tests that Anthony Lynn will face in his young head coaching career.
And you look at the 2 AFC teams that were in the 5th and 6th spots, the wild card teams that came into this, and you know what? They're 2 of the hottest teams that entered into the playoffs. So it's not surprising to see Indianapolis and the LA Chargers moving on to the next round. It wouldn't be surprising to see either one of them, if not both of them, win in the next round.
Yeah, you know, nothing would surprise me. Philip Rivers, 0-7 New England. I don't think he'll hear that much this week, will he? But, you know, but he's going up there. You said he's going against a team. The pass rush is not as good as what he saw today. They are a good defensive backfield for the New England. But the Chargers have good wide receivers. It's going to be a great matchup.
And the State Farm postgame show will continue after this. Coming up next on Wildcard Weekend in the world of the NFL, it will be, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Chicago Bears. That ought to be a good one, Nate.
Yeah, you're right about that. I'm looking at the Chicago Bears. Mitchell Trubisky, first time being in the playoffs. Matt Nagy, first time as a head coach. He needs to help him out on third downs with some creative.
I'm looking for the mobility of Trubisky to be the difference in this game. Both offensive lines, defensive lines, very good. His movement's going to be the difference.
X factor is Tariq Cohen to me, is a guy can catch the ball out of the backfield and return.
If Nick Foles plays great in this game, I want to be his agent. I just want to be his agent.
$100 million.
Oh, man.
Well, you know, you might want to be his agent now anyway, though, right?
He wants to make sure he's going to make a lot of money before he's their agent.
And we will switch gears and say for those of you in Indiana and Michigan who are expecting to see the NCAA basketball game between Indiana and Michigan, folks, We're going to get you out to that matchup after this message from your local station. For the rest, it's available on CBSSports.com, and we'll get everyone else out to Ann Arbor as soon as our football coverage is done. So, Boomer, you were talking about wanting to be Nick Foles' agent. I mean,
yes.
Did not Foles get enough of it last year and trying to poo-poo his performance because he seems to get it done?
Well, you know, big difference is this one is on the road at Soldier Field, and you're going against a mean, fast, quick, ornery defense that gets turnovers, that is in your face. I don't necessarily know that the Eagles are as good as they were last year, and plus they're not playing this game at the Link.
Yeah, and this is going to be a different offense, as we know. When Carson Wentz is there, he extends plays with his feet, and he's looking to be an athletic quarterback once he gets outside the pocket. Nick Foles, though, when the pocket collapses, he's going to deliver that ball. His chin is upfield. He wants to get the ball to his wide receivers.
I still look at this Chicago team as probably one of the most balanced teams, along with New Orleans, in terms of the fact that they can play defense, they can run the ball, and like you said, Trubisky's feet can make a difference.
Yeah, I love Chicago in this game. Nick Foles threw the ball 7 yards or shorter last week 30 times. I would hope the Bears are ready for the short passing game.
I love the way that you have talked objectively about the progress that Mitchell Trubisky was making all season long. It seems like so many people were stuck in a previous mode and just bashing this young man, and he's been doing
No, they still are. They still. And listen, if they lose, it's going to be his fault. That's just a part of being a quarterback, being young, whatever. It started out in a certain way, and it stayed that way. So there's a lot of pressure on Mitchell Trubisky.
I love the fact that Andy Reid's got two of his proteges, Matt Nagy and Doug Peterson, going against each other in this game.
All right. Folks, we will step aside. Looking forward to seeing you next week as we continue with the postseason here in the NFL right on CBS. For Boomer, Nate, Coach, and Phil, we'll see you next week.
CBS Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.